This week on Rugged Expeditions, we're heading back to my old college buddy's Mexican ranch to chase around a gagger of a whitetail buck. Thank God the rut's in full swing, because this might allow me to get up close and personal with him.
Presented by the Pepe family's Jonas Brothers Studios. Museum quality taxidermy since 1908.
The Mexican desert's a thorny, dry, cactus-choked land, and it's a tough place for both man and beast to make a living. As with any environment, though, the desert has a lot to offer if you just look past the thorns. This area of the vast desert is famous for being the stronghold of the rare Mexican Central Plateau whitetail. It's a small, dark-colored deer that thrives in this hot, dry environment. Bigger in body than the Coues deer, or as you aficionados like to call them, the Cows deer. Last time I was here, Jay Link from Link's Wild Safaris had joined us, and he was able to take a really nice trophy Central Plateau buck. I was lucky enough to get a dandy also. It looks like he's coming right on the same trail as those does. I think he just smells them and he's just gonna walk right along here.
Look at these things. Look how dark they are. Just a beautiful, beautiful animal.
It just goes to show you how much quality game Jose has in his ranch, which is living proof that when us hunters protect the environment, all animals thrive.
The natural species in this area, because this is an open area, I want them to be here. And the only way to do it is that they need food, they need ladies, and maybe some wine.
So tell me about these plants that they make the tequila and the mezcal out of. Is it like a cactus type of a deal here?
Yes, it's the maguey, it's called. See those over there?
Yep.
All the mezcal and tequila is the same thing. Just that tequila, it's a very specific type of cactus.
I got you.
It's the same type, the same family of cactus, but there's the tequila de agave azul. It's where they make tequila from, and they can grow only in some regions. It's like champagne or in France.
Gotcha.
But can be done only in one region, or cognac. Tequila is the same thing, can be done only in Jalisco and some other places in Mexico. Nevertheless, you can do mezcal from this. And it's the same basic thing. Even there's a song that says the tequila mi mezcal. From tequila, my mezcal.
Gotcha. So mezcal has the same effect on people as tequila does, pretty much?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it makes you bigger, stronger, better looking, and a way better dancer.
Sometimes you become invisible. And some other times you think you're Superman.
That's right, yes. So besides making mezcal out of it, you can also pull this thorn out, and now you've got a fiber. So you can actually sew things, use this needle that's right here, and stitch things back up together.
In the old days, the Indians used to make their ondas. Ondas, it's a string where you put a rock. They used to do it like that and throw the rock and kill the deer.
So this one plant does everything from make fiber to mezcal. You can use it to fix wounds. It's amazing what nature will give up to take care of us, huh? Wow, it's like a super plant.
Yeah.
Speaking of mezcal, before we went out to the ranch to go hunting, we stopped by Jose's winery to see how this year's harvest was going. He has some superb wines. I had to do some sampling, of course, just to make sure that none of his wine had gone bad. It's a dirty job, but somebody has to do it. But enough of this drinking. We're here to go hunting, and there's a trophy of a lifetime out there with my name on it. After all, this show is called Rugged Expeditions, not Booze Cruisers, so let's get back to hunting. Jose Antonio Rivero has done a fantastic job with conserving the wild habitat that is so essential to the animals that live in this high desert. Jose has trail cameras at all the water holes to keep an eye on what's happening. One of the cowboys showed me a trail camera video of a freakazoid deer. This buck was definitely not one of the tiny Plateau deer and was probably, I'm guessing, a Texas whitetail that was way too far south for his own good.
We're heading out in the high rack today. It's a lot warmer this morning, which isn't necessarily good for the rut, but it should be nice. We've got broken clouds. Life is good. We're going hunting. Woo!
We had to leave the lodge in the dark if we were going to make it to the other end of the ranch before noon. It was a long, cold ride. My Heinio SLL Frizio. I figured while I'm in Mexico, I might as well work on my El Spanisho. What better time to do it than right here? As we got closer to where the deer had been captured on trail camera, Jose decided to stop and climb up to a vantage point and see if we could spot him from there.
This is a sweet setup. I'm sitting up here hiding in this little pile of rocks, and there's a big buck that they've seen coming in here. We've got a water hole over here, and I'm sure that this is the only one for a long ways, so if they're coming in here, there's enough open ground that we can see from up high that we'll have a good crack to take a look at him and see what he looks like. Most of this is so thick that we're getting just glimpses of them, just a flash of horn maybe, or running away. I like having altitude you can see down in. This is a good spot. A really good spot.
This water is such a precious resource out here in the desert. Wherever we find these small little pockets like this, the tracks are all over the place where everything has to come to these just few spots that are out here. It's nice that this one's still got some water still left in it this time of year, because most of the old water holes that we found are bone dry. The best places to hunt, obviously, is right around these, because the deer have got to come to them. Not necessarily every day, but they're gonna have to frequent these places. Tracks all over the place here. You know, you forget when you haven't been down here in the Chihuahua Desert for a while how much different it is than my memory. You know, I always think of the desert as being flat and cactus and everything else, but here you can see we've got a lot of mountains. It's great terrain for hunting in because you can get up high, glass down in these valleys, and get a good look at the deer from a long ways away and then try and sneak up on them. It's pretty cool.
Not getting a look at Mr. Big from the top of the hill, I climbed up onto a new high stand to see if I could rattle him in near some old grain fields.
It's cold out here this morning. Maybe these deer don't get moving until it warms up a little bit. Not sure if this is a morning stand or an afternoon stand, but I guess I'm gonna find out. Sitting in a blind is not normally my forte. Finally, I'm seeing some deer. Doe and a couple of fawns. But that's been it so far. You get some bucks out here. The rut should be on. We've seen some activity, but nothing's going on this morning. It's kind of weird. I'm trying to stay completely camoed to get my hood up. Maybe keep the shine off the silver logs. I'll try anything.
We really haven't been seeing the animals that we thought we would see. I don't know if it's this weather or what. It's colder than hell this morning though, which is great. We're gonna try and get up in a high stand and see if we can see up over top of it. And we've got some shooting lanes here also, which is really good, because when they come out of these openings, we'll at least have a crack at them. Our problem has been when we're seeing them, they're in such thick stuff that you got no chance to get a shot off, and it's gotta be quick. So hopefully this will work.
Since the Mr. McNasty didn't cooperate yesterday, we tried a different high stand today at the complete opposite side of the water hole. Once I spotted Senor Extra El Largo at a distance, our only hope was that he would come closer if I could rattle him in.
This time of year is a perfect time for rattling. You know, they're in the rut. Give it you like it.
This is really deceptive because with the long camera lens, this deer looks sort of close, but he's actually over 600 yards away.
This rain isn't going to do us any favors.
No.
I'm not sure the way this thing's acting, we're going to be sitting up here all day, and he's way the hell out now. I don't know if he's going to come back.
Well, I don't think he's gonna come back.
Chasing those does pretty hard.
Yes.
You got a plan B?
Well, I think that you should go after him.
Down on the ground?
I don't think he's gonna come. He's going to be distracted.
If I can get this wind, that might not be a bad idea. If I can get the wind right and get those does past him, because it seems like those does don't want to stay with him. He's just pushing them, you know. I don't think those does are ready. Oh, there he goes again.
This deer must have been drinking some of Jose's mezcal, because the next thing I knew, he became invisible.
See you later. All right. Plan B.
If plan A doesn't work, you gotta switch to plan B, even if it sounds loco. I know what you're thinking. There is no way Al Smith is going to El Sneako up on Senor Cola Blanca.
This is a long shot. I can't see this working, but all we can do is try and get in tight. If I can sneak, there's enough of this brush. The wind is strong. I mean, it's possible, but it's not exactly like we're sneaking in on something that's stupid. They know when you're in a blind at 200 yards, let alone Al Smith trying to sneak up on him, but we tried everything else. Might as well give this a try. I've got the doe right up here, so he's got to be here somewhere. He's got a couple of them all running around crazy. I'm gonna have to get inside his comfort zone to lure him away. I don't want to scare him off. I'll try to see if I can get it tighter. That's a nice buck. Well, hopefully he didn't wind us. He was looking back here though, like the does are still here or something, so maybe one of the does took off. I didn't see the doe. Let's go see. Man, that is a nice deer. He's super tall. I don't know how many points he's got, but
he's got a bunch on one side, and it looks like he's got some kind of a kicker or something weird. Come on, let's go.
This brush is just tall enough to hide them. Once in a while I see an ear or a back.
He's frustrated. He wants to come in, but he knows something's not right. He's just not going to leave that doe, which is excellent for us. If he stays with his head down, we're going to be good. He's got to get out in the open. He stays there, I got no shot.
Two hours of rattling and trying to get him to sneak in. The doe had him pegged. She was laying down. He was sitting there. He would put his head up, then he would put his head down. Oh, I had to put these earplugs in. Man, this gun is loud. Then, I've never, ever snuck up on a whitetail like that. Ever. It was like bow hunting. We'd get the wind would swirl, he'd leave, but the doe kept moving in front of him. She just didn't want him to breed, but he just wouldn't leave her. Oh my God, I'm so pumped. Whew. Look at it from right here. That's a deer of a lifetime here in Mexico. Wow. Look at all the points. This is the most incredible whitetail I've ever had my hands on. This thing is, you know, you spend all the time chasing whitetails in your life and you love every minute of it, but it's always something different. There's so many ways to hunt them. We tried hunting them in stands. We tried hunting them in the, you know, getting out and driving around in the truck from the high seat. And they're all good ways to hunt. But sometimes, like in this case here, he's not coming anywhere near that stand. It's almost like those does were hip to the program. So we finally just had to get down and try and just stalk him and see if we could, look at that. See if we could get in tight on him. And he came to the rattle a bit, which was awesome. And that was our only hope of getting close enough to him, was to get him to come to us and leave those does. But then he went back to the does and he stood over the doe. And he would go down and he was looking at her, then he'd lift his head up to check out what was going on. And that was the key. As long as he kept doing that, when he put his head down, then we could do the sneak. Look at the horns. Well, you come to Mexico, you have fun with a great friend like Jay and Jose. You get to be in a hunting camp with all your buddies and chasing your most favorite animal. Doesn't get any better than whitetail hunting in Mexico.